Back on the blend this morning, we have Brent Forsberg with TA Forsberg. Brent, always good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here with both of you.
I know. We're glad to be back. Hey, so you build a lot of different communities and developments. And so when you think about that, think about zoning and how do you decide where things are going to go and how does that zoning process work?
Yeah, zoning is the set of rules that tell us what types of uses, everything from the density that we can have in residential to height of buildings to the uses. And it is the underlying rules that each community has that when you're going place, you're asking, why is that building there or why is that use there? It was done at some point through that zoning and planning process.
So what's the genesis of zoning? Well, how did it come into play? And it can be, it can affect the size of a business sign in a community.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It really started with back in the 5th century BC with a guy named Hippodamus who came up with, hey, we should really be looking as we plan out cities and where different things should go to make the ease of use for people. And then in the 20th century in the United States, it really changed because as we went into the industrial age, they said, maybe we shouldn't be putting houses next to a drop forge because of the environmental issues and the air quality, and people were getting sick.
Yeah.
And then as we do as people, we take a good idea and we run it out to the furthest extreme. So throw in a little bit of fear from the Cold War, throw in the car, which changed how we move.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we go to this idea of we should just put grocery here, houses here, businesses here, and we set up this whole single-use model. And what it really did, though, is it had a big flaw, is it said, we're going to design how we live by the use of property and on the real estate use, not how people want to experience it. And that's one thing that we're doing as a company is how do we kind of go back in and look at how people want to live and interact with the places they are. And that's how we use for our design philosophy.
So talk about how people can get involved in that process then.
Absolutely. So there's always these master plans that are built. So being involved in your community, starting at the community level with the neighborhood groups, saying, hey, if you have things that you want there, start talking with your community leaders. And then, developers, that's one of the things that we love to do is get involved in the communities and help facilitate some of those conversations.
Talk about what people seem to want that they maybe don't have right now.
Yeah, right now we see this big push for walkability, right? As we came out of COVID and people having that hyper-local experience and enjoying that. So I think we're going to see more of that as we move forward in those type of discussions with those businesses.
TA Forsberg, LansingRealEstate.com. Brent, always good to see you.
Great to see you guys.